Hey everybody, we are going to make kimchi here. I'm Jeff from Tilton Hollow Farm, and Chad's behind the phone filming.
Hi.
We might see him later. For those of you on Periscope, you can ask questions as we go along. This recipe, it's loosely based on a recipe that I saw on thekitchen.com, and it's kitchen without an E, so Kitchn. We'll put the link up on our Facebook and on our YouTube. But so let's go ahead and get started. So the first, I've went ahead and prepped everything. So the first thing that you want to do is make the paste that goes onto all the vegetables. Let me back up. I'll tell you what I did to start. So over here, I have, this is 1 head of bok choy and 1 head of Napa cabbage. Most of the recipes call it just for Napa cabbage. I just like the bok choy for the extra green and the little more crunch. What you do is cut each head in quarters and then just take out the stem core at the bottom, and then you put a 1/4 cup of salt. You want to use kosher salt or sea salt, nothing with iodine in it, and you also don't want to use anything with caking agents in it. So a lot of kosher salt has anti-caking agents. They can inhibit the fermentation, which is what's going to happen in the kimchi. So you cut those in quarters and then cut them into 2-inch slices across, and then you take a 1/4 cup of the salt, shake it over, and then you massage it in until everything's coated in salt. What I did then is I just dumped it in my stainless steel pan. Whenever you're doing fermentation, you don't want any reactive metals, so plastic, glass, stainless steel. I put this in here and then set a plate on top and then set a weight on it so it would push it down. You let it set for an hour or two. What that does is the salt goes into the vegetables and water comes out. So then once they've sat for the required time, you drain it, you rinse it 3 times. So cover it in water, kind of swash it around, and then drain it. And then do that again 2 more times on top of that, so 3 total. And then you set it in your strainer and let it drain for at least 15 minutes. So this is going to go in after we get the paste, but it needs to be done before. So for the paste, we have, this is a teaspoon of grated ginger. This is a tablespoon of grated garlic, and I just use a microplane grater and just rub it on. Like the ginger, I don't care if I get a little peeling in because it's so fine. This is a teaspoon of sugar. I guess that's a hot topic with kimchi. Some people say no sugar, some people say put sugar. I do. This is 3 tablespoons of fish sauce. Now, if you're vegetarian or vegan, you could use water. Some people use a combination of water and seaweed powder. I like it with the fish sauce. That goes in. This is Korean hot pepper powder. The name, I believe, is gochugaru. If you're lucky enough to have a Korean grocery store around you, they'll know exactly what you need. They should have this at most Asian supermarkets. I went, and the people there were mainly Chinese, so they didn't really know the Korean stuff, and their English wasn't the best. So I showed them what I needed on the internet, and they said that this was Korean from the writing on it, and hot pepper powder. And you can see this comes in, what is it, 2 pounds. I mean, this is going to last me probably for my kimchi life. But it's not as hot as it sounds. You're going to put anywhere between 1 to 5 tablespoons of the hot pepper powder in there. The first time I did it, I think I put 3 or so, and it wasn't spicy at all, really. So this time I'm putting the whole 5 in. This is what gives the kimchi its color, too. That if you've had it before, it's got that distinctive red kind of paste or sauce on it. So I'm going to put all of this in. Okay, so now I'm just going to stir it around and make it into a paste. And again, you want to use something non-reactive. No aluminum or anything like that. I mean, I don't think most people have aluminum spoons, but just do it in glass with wood or stainless steel or whatever. So you can probably see it's just kind of all mixed together in a nice little paste. So this is where it gets messy. I recommend putting on rubber gloves. You can get a pair of dishwashing gloves and keep them just for this, keep them clean. Don't want soap and stuff on it. Or I use latex gloves, which I'm going to put on here shortly. And the smell, this is coming out of just the paste, it's amazing. It has, you can smell the ginger and the garlic, it gives it a real bright kind of smell, and then the fish sauce, it smells really good. So now is the fun part. We're going to put all of the ingredients in here that make a kimchi. You can see you don't want that on your hands. If you do, it might, if you have cuts or stuff, it'll probably burn, and it smells strong, so it might be hard to get off. So I'm just going to go ahead and add in the bok choy and the Napa cabbage. This is probably a little more than a cup, but it's a daikon radish. I say this is the top of it. It looks like a radish, except it's long and has a green top. The bottom's white. It tastes about like a radish too. Actually, I got this at Kroger, so you can get them at just a regular supermarket, or if you go to the Asian supermarkets, they're a lot cheaper usually for stuff like this. So I've cut it into kind of like matchsticks. This adds a lot of crunch to the kimchi, so it's good to have in there. So we'll put that in. This last time I didn't use this time I'm putting in, I just sliced up 1 carrot kind of thin. Gonna see what that does. A little bit of a different taste. And that's the great thing about this. You can customize it. That's what I've done. If there's something you like, just go ahead and put it in there and see how it does. If worst comes to worst, you don't like it and throw it away, but you probably will. And then this is a bunch of green onions. I think the recipe calls for 3, but I really like green onions, so I'm putting a whole bunch in. So this is just best to do with your hands. Just kind of start tossing around in the sauce. Do we have anybody watching this, Chad?
No.
Well, hopefully they'll watch it later.
I'm watching.
Well, if you watch it later, you can enjoy it then. So you can see it's starting to turn a little red. Just want to get it all mixed in there really good. And the original brine that you made, some of the salt stays behind in the cabbages, so that's why there's no additional salt in it. You can see it kind of starts to wilt it a little, but it also, it makes it crunchy. It's from taking all the water out and adding salt. It smells good. Can you smell it, Chad?
Yes.
Smell good?
It does.
So, this is pretty good. There's still some chunks. I'm going to do a little more. The next part is the hardest part of making kimchi, and that is waiting. I'm going to pack it in a jar, and then we're going to let it sit on the counter, no refrigeration, for 1 to 5 days. You'll taste it every day and see when it gets to that taste that you like. It's kind of got a little bit of a tang. That's when it's ready. And then you'll put it in the refrigerator. It's best if you do the first step, let it do the fermentation, and then put it in the refrigerator for 1 to 2 weeks, so all the flavors get melded and enhanced. It's really good, but a lot of times you can't wait. So, I mean, if you really like this, you could have a constant batch going, or you're never out. And the best part about this is probiotics. When it's done fermenting, you get all these healthy organisms that colonize your gut and make you healthy. So now you can see it's pretty evenly distributed. Well, there's a few chunks in there, but everything's looking nice and red and smelling yummy. So I am going to put it in a jar, and I'll show you a little trick. the half-gallon jars. If you can get wide mouth, that's better. I think the half-gallon only comes in wide mouth. What I'm going to do, this will get a little messy too sometimes. Just put it in here, and we're going to kind of pack it in. You want it pretty solid. When this is fermenting, you want it to stay below the brine, and I've got a little trick for that. You can buy weights. Usually they're made out of glass that holds the whatever's fermenting under the brine. But I just take a Ziploc bag and fill it part full of water and set it on the top, and that holds it down. Then you put the lid on the jar. Oh, this smells so good. I already had dinner and my stomach's rumbling just from smelling this. You also want to leave at least about an inch of headspace at the top, because this is going to be putting off gases just like when anything ferments. So you need to leave some space or it'll be overflowing and making a big mess. It may bubble over some when it's sitting on the counter. You just want to, you can keep it on a plate, and obviously you should taste it every day, so you should open it. And that lets some of the gases out. Don't be alarmed if when you first open it, it'll really bubble, because that's what happens when the pressure is released. And the great part about this is if you have too much for a jar, you can just eat this part fresh, and it's still pretty tasty. So I always make sure I have a little bit left over. And if there's not enough, if it doesn't have enough brine, you can add a little bit of water. I don't know if you can. If you start pushing on this, you can see that more of the liquid's coming out, and it's starting to come up like that. I mean, you really want to pack it in here. That's what gets the liquid out, because you don't want a lot of air spaces, because this is supposed to be happening anaerobically without oxygen. So pack it in there. And that's why everything should be under the brine, so there's no oxygen. That's the enemy of the good bacteria. So look, see now you can see that when I push down, it's coming clear up over the vegetables there. So that's good. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want. So I am going to pack the rest in here. Then we're going to add the Ziploc bag, half full of water or so, quart size, to just weigh it down below the brine, and then we'll let it sit for a few days. When it's ready, maybe we'll come back and have a live tasting on here and see what you think. Anybody join us?
No.
Okay. Well, if you're watching this later, hope you enjoy. We'll put it on our Facebook. It's facebook.com/Tilton Hollow. Tilton Hollow is in the name of the broadcast. We'll also put it on our YouTube channel, which is also under Tilton Hollow. So hope to see you. If you have any questions, you can reach us online, Facebook, or on YouTube. But happy fermenting. Enjoy your kimchi.
Bye.